Hello, seekers. Welcome to While We Exist. The aim of today's podcast is to talk about competitive programming. Now, I know many of you might have not heard of this term, so let me tell you first. Competitive programming is a sport programming where the participant is given a question with some specifications and he needs to solve it within a stipulated time limit. So, what are the skills you need for this? You need to be a great coder. You need to have speed. You need to have problem solving skills because you will be given new problems and you have to solve them. Plus, a good fundamental knowledge of data structures and algorithms. But why is this sport important? Let me tell you something. All the, if you want to crack the coding interviews of the top companies all over the world, be it Google, Facebook, Amazon, or anything, take any company. If you want to crack the interviews, if you want to work there as a software developer, you need to be great at competitive coding. You need to be good at it. So today we will talk about that skill. I have two of my friends, uh, Ruchir and Karan. All three of us were very active uh, while we were in college in competitive coding. So it helped us a lot. It opened many doors for us. So today we will be talking about our journey, and maybe some of you can get a few ideas and implement it in your lives. So welcome, guys. Welcome. How do you feel to be here today, Ruchir?
Uh, I feel like I have some responsibility on my hands, but yeah, it's like it would be, I think, a uh, great way to interact with others, like tell them about what you have experienced and probably what mistakes you made, and
Yeah.
then how how they can enjoy this art of competitive coding.
Wow. Nicely put. I love that you said we will definitely talk about the mistakes that we maybe the mistakes that we made because that will really help these people out. Also, Karan, how do you feel today to be here?
Yeah, it feels great. Like this, my first podcast ever, and probably this provides me a platform to share my experience. And as Ruchir said, that it will surely help other people, like how a learning curve has been, and how we can help others to like issues that we have faced.
Yes, exactly. Because many people are facing issues. So recently, I've been active on LinkedIn, and I've been in conversation with many students who are in their third year or fourth year. Students who are not maybe from the top institutes in India. They are from tier 3 institutes, what we call them. And I've seen panic the way they interact. I feel they don't have the right resources. So yes, that I saw that thing happening. So I thought, why not just make a podcast on it, talk about our experiences. So, but let's start on a lighter note. I want to ask you guys. My first question is how you got interested in this art of competitive coding. How you got interested in it? Because I know both of you, and I know at one point of time you were just passionate about this. Like I know you used to go to classes and this you were just thinking of this problem. You're not even paying any attention because it is addictive. We all know that. So
Did we ever go to classes?
okay, that is a different aspect. But
That could be
so
one of the mistakes we made.
Yeah.
yes, why not? But so how you got interested in this? Let's start with Karan. How you got interested in competitive
I'll
coding?
rather prefer Ruchir going first in this sense. I guess he was the first one to get started on this. Like, I guess he
Hmm.
started in like first few months of the college itself. So
Yeah,
you'll
Ruchir,
have a
tell
better
us.
answer there.
So, so the like the way we got introduced to competitive coding, I think me and Yash were together when one of us super seniors came to us and told us that you can try this out, and if you get good at this, you are sure to get good placement. So yeah, that was the starting point. But like once I got into it and I solved my first couple of problems, like the idea of solving this puzzle, like just thinking and taking a problem which you haven't seen before and just trying to solve it um, within some time. But like just doing that got me interested into it, and then when I started these contests, it was a completely enjoyable experience, because you were then actually working towards something, and you got to know that there are a few contests which you can um, participate in, and then you can actually represent your college. So that feeling of
Mm,
like working towards something was amazing.
yes. Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's well put. Uh, so yes, I think you were one of the first people. You were the first one among three, or maybe me too. We both maybe started together, competitive coding.
Like
Then,
as far as I remember, he was like quite actively into a competitive coding right from the first semester of the college.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
So
hmm.
yeah, I started in the second semester. First semester, I didn't have my laptop with me,
Oh yeah.
so I was just focusing on like my college studies. Um, yeah.
That was the last semester you focused on college studies. Okay.
No,
Anyways.
not exactly. Yeah, but yeah.
Anyways, so I think after that, Karan got interested in it. So what was your turning point, Karan?
Yeah, for me it was more I was just trying it out like in the first year I was trying iOS development. I was into it for like almost a year, but I don't know, I lost the interest there. Then probably getting started with competitive coding, it much more relates to how we've been since our 11th class. So we were always into like doing MCQs, doing as fast as we can, and
Hmm.
it's like the same feeling that we get here. We have this time constraints, and it's like we have a lot of questions to solve, approach different kind of problems, all like all problems are quite new. So
Yeah.
it's like the same push that we get, that we used to get in our school days.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. Also, because when you're doing competitive coding, you have contests every weekend. So every week you have a tool to analyze yourself. So I think you get that push also. If you're doing good, you get that push, that dopamine hit you get when you get that rating increase, or maybe in any of these coding platforms. So yeah, that
Yeah.
you have these things also, which makes it really addictive.
So
But
we are like
hmm,
I remember like we had this cult in our college that we like just a small group, but it was like the initial phase of that cult that we were talking about the ratings and all on code forces. So yeah,
hmm, hmm, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, as Ruchir said, it feels like we're solving a puzzle. I also felt that. It is
I
mostly
totally agree.
solving a puzzle, just a puzzle. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So thanks for sharing your how you got interested in competitive coding. Uh, the next topic that I wanted to talk about is, so I've already spoken about it. Let me put it again. Interviews, like these big companies and all the IT companies mostly, they've put high emphasis on coding, competitive coding, the coding questions in the interview rounds. Be it Google, be it Facebook, or be it any big companies. So my question is, why do they do that? Because we know these guys will actually be handling the, someone who goes into Facebook, he's going into a big corporation. They need good skilled software developers to handle Facebook. So why do these people put so much emphasis on competitive coding? Why? What defines this? So anyone who wants to go first.
Yep, I could go first. So yeah, like these companies, what they're looking for is that if someone comes into their company, how fast can they learn something new?
Mm-hmm.
and they have this opinion like if you get a smart person on board who can solve unseen problems, any problem, be it any, like obviously the problems in a working environment are really different,
Hmm.
but if if the guy, he or she has this talent of like learning something new quickly, then he can probably pick it up if they are uh, like putting him with the right people with the right opportunities.
Hmm. Okay. So you said learn a guy who's good at competitive coding will most probably learn skills quickly because he has been practicing that.
Right, like the art of problem solving is one thing, like Karan suggested, like we started in 11th and 12th class. So it doing these problems which were outside our course book were actually helping us developing that
Hmm.
creative thinking. Also, like a little bit on the implementation side, was also like given was also there, like a little bit of implementation improvement was also there when you're doing competitive coding, but mainly the problem solving skills is what they are uh, like like gets them confident about hiring a candidate.
Hmm. Exactly. And I think implementation skill is also a big factor because I'm sure if someone is good at competitive coding, he must have solved at least 200, 300 question at least. So if someone has written
Yeah.
so much code, he knows how to put his ideas into code, we can say that. So he's good at implementation also, so I think that is also a big factor. uh Anything
Yeah,
else you
I
want to
agree on that.
add, Karan?
Yeah, so like if I just take a simple example here, let's say somebody's into any of the sports and you're trying to learn some other sports. So what you see is that those like there are two different sports, but to some extent, like they are related, right?
Hmm.
Like your fitness levels and all. So it's like it's kind of like the same here. If you're into competitive programming, so what I feel like is that it opens up your brain, like how you approach problem, and uh, like it's like you can to some extent think one or two steps ahead, because you
Hmm.
can see like where you could face problems, because
Hmm.
in competitive programming it's like you can't just do hit and tries. You
Right.
have to come up with a proper solution, then you have to implement it.
Hmm.
So you have to be sure shot at the very first step. So that kind of nurtures your brain or yourself to approach the problem in a quite structured way, and that kind of helps in other domains as well. And to like if I say like how it helped me in my career, like uh, for me it's like to some extent it's easier for me to connect dots from let's say if I'm having various issues, or if I'm looking at data, for me it's relatively easier to connect dots, because think that uh, getting into competitive programming has helped me getting to that point.
Wow, that's uh two I loved two of your points. First, you said that competitive coding is like a mental exercise for our brain. It helps us
Yeah.
to think, it helps us to open different parts of our brain. But the second important thing which you said is when we were solving competitive coding questions, in the end it had to be accepted or not accepted. So you always are thinking to solve the problem. So that really nurtures your brain to start thinking in the right direction, to start thinking in an optimized way. So yes, and in with time you also start thinking two steps ahead when you
Yeah.
when you're experienced, obviously. But yeah, those are those are good points, and surely I think these are the reason why these big companies value competitive coding so much. But so this is a personal question. Did you guys start because you knew this would help you in interviews, or you just started because you liked it? Did you know this before starting?
So
Ruchir, I think.
like as I said,
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah, so
Go
like
on.
I started because of the reason that it was told to me that it will help you at interviews, but I continued doing it on a consistent basis because I
Mhm.
actually enjoyed it.
Okay, all right. Karan, and you?
Yeah, so for me, it was more like I started off at development first, then I tried this.
Okay.
So I always had this problem of learning something new. So I always wanted things to be properly structured, and competitive programming it's quite structured. So it was easier for me to get onboarded to it. And once I got comfortable with it, it was more like a passion, or like the puzzle
Mhm.
solving skills that gave me that adrenaline rush.
So we all accept that it is addictive. It is addictive
Yeah.
for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, that was informative. But this brings me to my next section. So now the thing is, we all know competitive coding is very important, and now I guess now in the age of social media, everyone knows. Even if he's in his first year, even if there was no senior to tell him, it is everything is on YouTube and LinkedIn. You know that you have to do competitive coding, but still there is a lot of panic that I've seen in students, uh, that they feel that this particular art is very tough to acquire, to learn, to master at. So here's my here's what I think. You guys can agree to me or disagree with my perspective. I feel competitive coding has a steep initial learning. If we see the learning curve of competitive coding, it is steep initially. If I can put it in simpler terms, I've played two sports. I've played cricket for a long time. I've played tennis for a long time. When I played cricket, I felt, even when I started, it was easy. Let's say there are 10 players playing cricket. I can easily go and ask them, can you let me in? And I can play with them. Because cricket doesn't have a steep initial curve. You can learn how to use a bat quickly. But when I started with tennis, I feel tennis has a steep initial learning curve. Even to learn a forehand or a serve, you need to put in effort initially. There has to be effort put initially where you are not expecting any returns. You're just putting effort. So I feel competitive coding is similar to something like this. Initially, it is tough. You're gonna have dull moments. You're gonna have low moments where you're not able to learn anything new. You're not able to perform good in contests. Maybe you're failing in some of your interviews. And I'm sure you all, both of you, have gone through those moments. So I want to ask you how, and you definitely did come out of that gracefully. So now I want to ask you how, how to come out of these low moments, because this is an important skill to master. So what are your tips? Let's start with Ruchir.
So, like the first thing would be like if you are not able to solve this question, you should closely follow these editorials which are sent out with these contests. So, like if you're participating in a contest, it is totally okay to not being able to do as well. Like yeah, when you start comparing yourself with others, it'll do you not much good. So yeah, you can just what you can do is that like you can just code for the like you can code for the fun of it, and you can like the editorials will definitely help you learn that skill. So basically, if you're not able to do well in a particular contest or with a particular problem, just follow these editorials, learn a new skill. So take that as an opportunity to learn something new, and not something like it's um, not that if some other person was able to do it, there could be a possibility that the other person, like me myself, there was in a very initial curve, like when I just started competitive coding, it wasn't that steep because like I was a little accustomed to the art of problem solving during my 11th 12th
Hmm.
preparation, my IP preparation days. so it was a little fine. Like just had to learn the syntax. And I could go with it. Like the learning curve did look a lot steep in the middle when you had to
Okay.
when you were trying to aim for something like ICPC World Finals, but that would
Mhm.
be that was very steep. But so like yes, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So basically, you're telling
Uh,
us to uh, checking out the editorials all the time. Even if you don't do well in contest, do check out the editorials. Do learn it, and
Yeah.
don't be
Participate in contests
participate
and
in
just see, yeah, like be very happy when you just get that green tick mark and
contest.
try and just yeah, like accepted tick mark is like amazing. So yeah, you can do those. You can try long contests, you can try short contests, whatever suits you. You can just yeah, just-
Got it. Got it. Karan, you want to add anything onto it?
yeah, so I would slightly disagree with the statement that you made about this steep learning curve for competitive programming. So,
Hmm.
like, if we look at other domains, like if we look at development side or maybe machine learning, I'm talking about during college time. So,
Okay.
like, those domains are quite subjective. You see, like, there's no proper solution to everything.
Hmm.
But if we look at competitive programming, it's like binary. Either you get it right or you get it wrong. So
Hmm.
there, it's like you can easily move on to the other question. Once you get it accepted, you can you'll say that I'm done with this problem. But
Hmm.
with
Right.
the other domains, so that's what the problem I faced my first year. Like when I started with iOS development, I didn't know like where what's the next milestone. What do I have to do? Like with whatever I'm working on, whether it's the best outcome I could have done or not. So there, uh, there, I would say that it's a little steep learning curve because you have to push yourself in learning, and you have to push yourself in
You have to find your
convincing
own
yourself
path.
that
Yes, you have to find your own path because there's no structure.
correct,
Hmm.
correct, yeah.
Okay.
So right now, like even during our college days, there were a lot of for blog posts. I guess I remember A2OJ, where they have a proper curated list of the prompts to get started with, and even on code forces, you can see the problems sorted by the accepted number of answers. So yeah, so there it's kind of like easier to judge whether
Hmm.
you'll be able to do it or not.
Okay.
But if you go into some other problem like machine learning, it's slightly like you need to
I
work in
guess you
groups,
need a
maybe.
mentor if you are going for these things because you need someone to guide you. Uh,
Correct. Yeah.
Competitive coding, you like you said, it's binary. It's correct or it's not. You have a set of things
Yeah.
that you need to learn. So yeah, I
Hmm.
think I agree to your point. It's one of the easiest
Hmm.
thing to do in college then, competitive coding
Yeah.
compared to other things. Okay. But still,
Yeah.
I think you might have. Did you have these paths in your journey where it felt like a bit low? Maybe you don't. Your last two contests didn't go that well. You're not able to solve problems. So, did you
Mm,
face anything, or it was all happy and merry in your journey?
no, like it was you always face problems while learning things. So yeah, I did
Hmm.
face problems. So like as Ruchir mentioned that you should always look for editorials, and I guess discussing problems with others, it gives you a fresh perspective or a new way, some new way to look at the problem.
Hmm.
Editorial, maybe yes, it's like you will just follow one approach, but discussion is something that will help you even more because you might come up with some
Hmm.
new approach. Like in competitive programming, it's not like that. There's only one fixed approach that will help you solve
Right.
the problem. There can be multiple approaches. So yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially multiple approaches when you solve a problem. Now, how if you talk to other people, they can like the way they think, the way to approach a recursion problem. That is also very important to grasp if someone is
Hmm.
good at that. So
So I think
Yeah.
this point which Karan came up with, like the discussion part, like this was one of the things which was again really enjoyable. I remember like we
hmm,
used to carry our uh, contest problem discussions to the mess, and we used to like
yeah,
probably sit together and discuss like, and we had this also this mystery of what will happen after an hour when these system tests were done in the contest, and
yes.
like two of our four problems will fail, and so basically so that was the like discussions were like really amazing also, like yeah yeah, so basically when these contests, like if you go and meet these people in some way, if you can if you're able to go for a regional contest or anything like the multiple smackdown, TCU open, like these places are present, like so basically like these contests are there, so if you're able to go and meet them in person, like the people from other colleges, and discuss with them, that brings in another fresh perspective. So like you're
Yeah.
able to do that, that will like go and interact with these people, like just see what their journey is, like get inspired by what their
Hmm,
story is. Yes.
exactly. Yes. I think discussion is one of
So,
the, yeah, please,
yeah,
please go
so
on.
what I feel like is like in any domain right now, what every one of us is feeling is like the curse of too many choices. We have like a lot of blog posts, lot of websites to look after. So it all goes haywire when you get started on one, then you hop onto some other website. So one thing
Hmm,
is like you have to stick to one. Like if let's say you're doing code courses, then just stick to it. If you're learning one topic, let's say you're learning DP, then just stick to it. Like try to master it, then maybe move on to some other topic.
right, right. I think, yeah, that's an important point because every site, every coding site, it has a different flavor to it. I believe Code Forces problem, let's say, it is very maths oriented. You need to be good at maths when you're on Code Forces. I just feel that way. Maybe if we take something else, let's say Code Chef, Code Chef Long, it has a different flavor to it. So you need to be accustomed with at least one properly. So you know what are you solving. You know how to approach problems here. So yeah, pick one.
Yeah,
But which one of your, if I can ask you, which one was your favorite coding platform? Any favorites?
I was always into code forces, I guess.
Yeah, Code
Okay.
Forces would be the number one, but Code Chef again. So I would say like it would be number one, but then Code Chef, as you said, had a different flavor. Like the problems
Yeah.
were very algorithmic,
Yes.
and
Especially
so
long.
basically you, in the long
Yeah.
contest too.
Yeah.
So basically you'll get to learn something new, and if you had the time and you are able to do that yourself in that time, then you will that idea and that whatever will get very concrete in your. So basically, then you can use those ideas in the future as well. So
Yes.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
always advise Code Chef Long to, let's say, a third year right of. I tell them if you have time, if you have 10 days, go for Code Chef Long because you'll learn. You will, obviously, time will be invested, but you will learn something
yeah, and
Agreed.
TCO has really good editorials.
new. Okay. Top coder.
Top coder, yes. Top coder.
Okay. Great. Great. So, thank you guys for sharing your insights. Uh, now that we have spoken so much about how competitive coding is important, how everyone has to do it to get into companies. Now, this is a question to you guys. I want to know your opinion. Shouldn't competitive coding be included in the college curriculum itself? Because if every company is asking for this skill, what do you feel? Should it be included as a college curriculum, or it is nice the way it is? What do you feel about
Yeah, so like when you say college curriculum, I do know one college in Delhi has that.
it?
Like
Okay.
they have an elective. So I am in favor of having this as an elective, because then
Hmm.
you will have so many people, like some people will just get introduced to that new topic, like just the
Yeah.
same way like other electives. Like if they are able to find something interesting in that, they'll be able to. But again, like you are I according to me, like if you are persisting in competitive coding, if you have this in mind that you want to crack an interview, like that should I that is one goal which will not make you enjoy that process so much, because
Right.
that is something which everyone is going into, and that is like competitive coding is not the only way I feel
Okay.
which you can crack these interviews. There are people who have really good analytical skills, like they have like the people who were able to do like very very tough problems in their 11th and 12th class when they were approaching for ITJ. Those people were are able to crack these interviews without knowing competitive coding what even is. So
Uh,
like basically this
I guess if you're
uh,
very good at maths, I think you have a slight advantage
yes.
in competitive coding.
Mm. Yeah. So in interviews,
Hmm.
yeah, competitive coding is one way, definitely, but there
Okay.
are other ways as well. So
Okay. Are you also in support of this, Karan, including as an
So
elective?
I uh, maybe as an elective, not as a mandatory subject, because it's
Hmm.
like what domain you want to explore. Like if you want to get into data science or you want to get into code development, then yeah. So around data science, machine learning, we already have courses, and so that's like the choice we. Uh,
Hmm. Right.
that I guess those courses are much more oriented towards in the industry maybe, and or like how it will help you, but. I don't. I'm kind of. I kind of have an neutral opinion on this, whether it should be there in the curriculum or not.
Okay. Okay. So I guess maybe including it as a elective can be the next step. That can be tried out at least, because anyways the students are taking learning it on the net, or maybe going to some private institution for it. So maybe we can introduce it as an elective. Okay.
Maybe, yeah. But
Maybe.
like in a lot of colleges, we have these group comparative coding groups, and also I guess there's
Hmm.
already a strong
Right.
culture around a lot of colleges.
that is
Not
true.
sure
Like
if there would be a need.
yeah, but like if there's some elective, like sometimes it so happened like if you started with an elective, in between you just realize that you are actually enjoying that topic. So like if there is an elective, probably a little more number of people will end up. There's no harm in doing competitive coding as an elective. So yeah, it's like just a little more unknown. Like people who didn't want to do it by themselves just do it for the course and the grade, and then they end up liking it a lot. That's the
Mm, Yeah.
I think that's a very good point, because like we know that everyone, like you everyone should be at least informed that this skill is important. And like Karan said, that we already have some groups or clubs in college which do this, so we don't know if this might be it is necessary to include it as an elective. But I have a different opinion in it. Why? Because uh, I've been in talks, I've communicated with some students who are from, let's say, tier 3 colleges. And I feel that the information there about competitive coding is not, it's not, uh, what do you say, very correct. They feel that competitive coding, it is very tough. Some people will not even enter competitive, because first of all, uh, they don't have seniors who are, let's say, they don't have they don't have, let's say, 20 seniors who are each year going into great companies. So they already feel that okay, it's very tough, it means, because their best students are not going, not cracking these interviews. So I feel that there is a lack of information. So maybe if a elective is there for everyone, to just experience it, it might be a good idea. That's my take on it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I agree with that. Like basically, maybe in our college we might not have faced such problems because I guess we had enough drive among our
Hmm.
group also.
Yes.
But not sure about tier three colleges. Like
Yeah. Right.
yeah,
So yeah. So that's maybe it can be included. Okay. Uh. Now, my
So
next.
tier three colleges, I'll just say like there are a few people who do come out of the tier three colleges, like they just explore randomly, even though like they're ones, and I really respect those people a lot because they don't have their peers who are telling them. They are actually
Hmm.
interacting with someone outside their college. They're bringing in the culture into their college, so that is like
Yeah,
an amazing
right.
thing. So there are a few people who are in currently Google and these big companies, other big companies, and they are actually really good at competitive coding, problem solving. So yes,
Yes, there are
more
many
importantly,
people
problem
there.
solving.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. There are many people who are good. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
there are many people who are good. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Uh, but let's come to my next section. So, as I told you, so I just want to burst some myths, if they are. I want to discuss it with you guys. So, I've been active on LinkedIn recently, and I saw there is a term known as FAANG culture. Like, this is a new term that I've been introduced to. FAANG. So I'll tell you what it means. The spelling is FAANG, and the full form is, so these are the full form is Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google. Now, what does this FANG means? Basically, all the students who are cracking these five companies, they are worshipped literally on LinkedIn. So this is a kind of a status if you're into a FANG company. Uh, I believe there are a lot of companies which are very good. Not five, not even 10, not even 20. There are many. And now that we are in a startup age, in India, I think the startup revolution, it's on the rise. There are many startups. So do you think, what do you feel? Do you feel there are many companies and you don't have to care about these five or like 10 companies? What do you feel about it?
So like yeah, like what you're saying, I've seen it like happening. So this uh, the entire thing is related to basically a lot of content being available on other sources as well, and it it will just seep down to LinkedIn as well. But regarding my opinion, I think yeah, like obviously like I don't support like the worshipping of these people like who have cracked the interviews. So uh, like yes, again, so yeah, so it's just that they are yeah, so like it's a good thing like they have done that, and I think yeah, so that's just that, like I don't think it helps anyone by posting these on LinkedIn groups. I think there are much better ways of getting people motivated to do
Yes.
competitive coding.
That is what I feel when you start, let's say, worshipping someone, or you start treating someone as a, let's say, a hero. You feel that achieving that thing is very tough, and I don't want that to happen because it's not that tough. We have done it. We are not, all the people who've done it, they're not wizards. But yes, I agree that when you crack these companies, you get a good pay, you get a lot of things along with it. So yes, that's nice, but anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. So, and also it's not only these five companies, you have many companies you can go for, so you have a lot of options. I just putting this out.
So yeah, like not like there is a lot of persistence gone with that process. So like it's just like any exam probably like if you have a lot of structure involved, like if you have a lot of resources which are very structured, like as Karan pointed out, it gets a little easier to get to the level that if you are given uh, a problem, probably it won't be that unseen to you. So yeah, but then again there are a lot of people who are actually the other side as well, who have actually done competitive coding and actually learned a lot of new skills, like learning to see like solve new problems. So it's like a mix of both of those in such companies and any company whatsoever. So yeah, like it is, yeah, it is pretty yeah, like so I think yes, like if there would be probably some other post about inspiring people to start competitive programming, not for the purpose of
Exactly.
cracking interviews on LinkedIn, that will be much more informative.
That would be refreshing, actually, to see a
Yes,
post
yes.
like this. uh, Anything? Did you know about this FAANG culture, Karan?
Like I wasn't aware about it. I just got to know about this. But probably what I feel like on this particular term is like these all these companies are kind of like an integral part of everyone's life, maybe.
Hmm.
So everyone wants to be part of those companies.
Right.
But so uh, probably there's a lack of awareness about other companies. Like when you're in college, you don't really relate to really core development companies.
Right.
Maybe
Right. Right.
that's why
You're right.
you wouldn't be able to relate with it, like you want to get into it or something like that. So yeah, there are other companies, and uh, I don't really appreciate this culture of just going for all these five companies.
Yeah. Matlab, you don't need to panic. You have a lot of options. Just
Yeah,
be good at your skill. You'll get a good company.
I agree.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Uh, a lot of information on competitive coding shared, but my next section is something what Ruchir actually started. Ruchir said that if we can motivate people to do competitive coding, but not for interviews, maybe something else. So let's talk about ACM ICPC. And before that, I'll tell you why I got interested in competitive coding. So my primary reason was there was a senior in our college who I once saw wearing a T-shirt, and on that T-shirt it was written, I'm not sure exactly, but it was written, I was at ACM ICPC, something like this. A very cool T-shirt about a contest, and somehow I came to know that this guy is actually a very good coder. He has a huge name in the college. So I was like, what is this contest? And I think by that time I got introduced to competitive coding. I started doing it, but I got introduced to this contest. And so, for all the people who don't know what ACM ICPC is, it's very simple. You make teams of three, and you apply for this contest. Now there is first an online round where students are chosen from each college. Maximum two or three teams from each college are chosen, and then you have a regional round, and then the top five students go to the world finals where you actually represent India. So if you crack the first round, you're representing your college. If you crack the second round, you're representing India. So yeah, it really fascinated me. And later on, that dream did come true, and all three of us went to ACMICPC in our third year. So tell me about that journey, because I think we were on that journey. We were never into the journey of we weren't doing competitive coding to crack interviews. We were actually doing competitive coding to crack ACMICPC, maybe get a good rank at ACMICPC. So, for all the people out there who have this aim, who have this dream, what do you want to tell to those people? And let's start your journey first, how you got introduced to this concept. Karan, if you can start first. ACMICPC, how did you got to know?
So ACM, ICPC, like if you are into competitive coding, like we were not just there for doing weekly contests and all. It has to end somewhere. Like there
Hmm.
has to be some bigger milestone, and that's what we were aiming for. So there, like one primary thing that I felt was like as a team you have to work on it because like it's three of us and you have to work as a team there, not as individual. And like
Hmm.
across multiple contests that we have had, it was like primarily we were doing individual. Like if you're into code courses, you'll mostly be doing individual contests and all. But if you're aiming for ACM ICPC, like one thing that you definitely have to work on is like working as a team.
Right.
So yeah, and that journey obviously like has helped me in my other parts of the life as well, like working as a team. Because
Hmm.
I guess I was never good at that.
Yes. Yeah. Right. This is a very important skill that it teaches us how to work. Like you have three people out there, and
Right.
each one of them has to play a part. How to fix everyone to their part. So yeah, that was uh,
Yeah,
So
I remember like before the contest, we were planning like what set of algorithms you will be working on.
hmm.
Like we had to master a few, like a set of algorithms.
Yeah. So that was
yeah, so like
yeah.
yeah, so ACPC journey. So like when so these contests which we used to do was were actually yeah, so like these contests which we were doing for the other contests which we were doing, which were kind of prepping us towards like doing this within a time duration. You need to solve a lot of problems. So like so when you got this when we had this opportunity that you can apply for ACM ICPC regionals, and there'll be this online contest, and then like the top two or top three people, top two or top three teams from your college will be going to this place. Like first of all, it was like a great trip for us. I think
Yeah,
like
right, right,
we
right.
really enjoyed all the entire journey going up till that place.
Yes. I think that was the
So
first time when like we had to go to represent our college to some other city as a team. So
yeah,
yeah, that was cool.
yeah, I remember you were playing this song on repeat, which I really liked. I think it was from Jab We Met.
Yes,
Me and
uh,
Yash were the first time we went in was in our second year, and and then on the third
yeah,
year
it was
we
a
all
travel song from
yeah
Jab We Met. Na 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 na
yeah
na na. I forgot what the lyrics were. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, yeah, I
And
remember that.
then we met a few hot shots, like the people who
Yeah.
are the best in the trade, and then we talked to them about their advice and how they told us he gave us two options of solving dynamic programming, like bottom up, top down, and then asked us to choose one of those two, and then they were like, "Arey, bottom up, nahi nahi nahi,
Ah,
top down hai
yeah,
tarika."
right.
So basically, this was
I was
another
always a fan of recursive approaches.
yeah.
That
So
felt much more intuitive to me.
I think
yeah,
it totally depends on how your mind works. That recursive bottom
Yeah,
up versus top down.
yeah.
Some people find that intuitive, and some people just find it going over the head.
Uh,
So yeah.
yeah, and then when we went to this, like there was this place where they were serving us food, like there were tandoori rotis and dal makhani, and then so that idea of like
Uh,
being served food in a wedding style, and then you are
Yeah,
just
we
enjoying the
were
food. You're
taken
meeting
care of.
people.
We were taken care of there.
Yeah, you heard all these names like all the web hubs and all the you heard
Right.
all these people, and like they're like the top, and you were just going and Nakuls and all those people.
So basically,
So
I think
basically
this is also
meeting
one of the
them, and
big,
yeah,
a very important point. You meet the top coders together. The one, so these you can learn from so much. You get out of your bubble. You might be the best coder or the top five coders of your college, but you come here and then you are like, what? I, but yeah, that was
so,
nice.
so I talked about enjoying it, but I think you also should put yourself a little
Hmm.
outside your comfort zone, because like if you are not learning new techniques and you're just enjoying it, just doing contests for the sake of it, and then you're not actually improving yourself in any way. You're just doing it for the fun. And like after a point in time, you should actually also push yourself a bit, like so that you are able to develop yourself. So like try different diverse problems, like all kinds of problems. Like as Karan mentioned, like take one at a time but do multiple. So like, and then realize your strengths, and then as a team, uh, know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. If you are actually aiming for ACM ICPC World Finals, but also don't take ACM ICPC World Finals to be the end game. If you're not able to get there, it's totally fine. Like
Hmm.
you should work towards it, but also like you should develop everything. But like take it as one another goal. Like meeting
Yeah.
them is good. Meeting like Kennedy, correct, all these the tourists and everyone. That's totally different thing, but we didn't get a chance to do that. But yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been really amazing. But
Cracking world finals, you have to be like great, best in
yes,
India, one of the best in India.
yeah, great. Yes, true,
Yeah.
totally.
So yeah, but it's a great journey, and I think because of that journey, I think we all can say that we didn't really study competitive coding for interviews after that. We
Yeah,
just revised it whenever we had to give interviews. So I love for that fact. I never, but because that journey is not enjoyable when you are studying it for an interview.
Yeah.
So, and that is why it gave. Initially, we talked about a lot of skills which we get while we do competitive coding, and
Yeah.
because we were on a journey, we were doing it gradually, taking our time. We acquired a lot of those skills. So yeah,
Mhm.
grateful for that. Uh that is um, some good information which you guys shared with us about ACM ICPC. So just before finishing off, I want to ask you. Let's say this question is for someone who is in his first or second year in college. Any mistake that you did which you won't want someone to do while he's in first or second year? It can be related to competitive coding or anything, but anything which you would say that maybe this could have been done a little bit differently.
Personally, what I feel I did wrong was like I should have been a little more balanced.
Okay.
So like if you are doing competitive coding, you're enjoying it, great. But also there are other things, other perspectives to college life. I did do like get involved in a little other things as well. It's not like I was just doing competitive coding, but I could have also like probably for example, I could have like taken my core CS courses a little more, a lot more seriously, so that then like you also have so basically at that point in time it felt like it is of no use, but like later on in the journey I realized that yeah, it did play a part in it, so again,
The
yes.
I
importance
think
escalated quite fast, a little then a lot.
yes, right, right. I think because that prepares us for, let's say, when we are doing our jobs. Let's say someone who wants to go to acquire some higher education. College education is for that. So we didn't pay so much attention to it. But yes, I think I guess
Mm.
that would be my. I would also like to change it if I could ever.
Yeah, plus one on that.
Oh shit! Oh god! So that's a big advice, guys. All three of us have the same advice for you.
I like.
Please, yeah.
I guess our seniors did tell us that we should take our academics a little seriously, but
Yeah.
like we were all in the flow that we were enjoying our college life
Hmm.
and doing what we were passionate about. That's it.
Yeah, and
Right.
there were a few the seniors which were doing competitive coding well as long as managing the studies. So that is what is the balanced approach which I didn't have. So
Yeah,
those like that's great. Like
man.
if you can have a balanced approach, amazing.
Yes, yes. I guess if you have it, then it's perfect. But yes, as
I,
you said,
I only
yeah,
remember one of our juniors who did keep a proper balance there.
Yeah. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, man. But I think
I don't know how
I guess this is it's tough. It's not easy,
yeah.
like
Yes.
because
Uh,
first of all, you get addicted to this sport. It's not like you're just doing it. You actually start thinking about it all the time.
Mm.
Then you have these courses which are not that interesting, maybe
yeah.
not interestingly taught or any reason. So yeah, it's tough to maintain the balance, but I
Yeah.
guess that's important.
Yeah, probably starting a little earlier. Like in your school, like you can try
Hmm.
IOI if you want if you're
No,
interested.
no, that I guess that's a little too much.
But yeah, like if you're enjoying that in that time, like just like IIT, but like if you're liking that, again, you get to meet like the kids of the best kid competitive coders around the world. So again, like you like they are like the gold medalists in IOI end up in MIT. So like if you are able to do that, I'm not saying, but if you get anything, if you get started a little earlier, but you enjoy it, then
I guess you need to have proper exposure also for that. You need to, someone has to come and tell you that this exists, buddy.
then
Then,
you can then you can do other stuff along with it. So basically, then
yeah,
Probably 10 or 15 years down the line, this might be a little
yes,
common,
yes.
but not now, I guess.
We already have like people are studying coding from third,
Yeah.
fourth classes, I guess. We all know about that.
uh,
Also, we might have competitive coding introduced very early on. Who knows? But yeah, sure. Uh, Thank you guys for giving us a deep insight on competitive coding. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
this was a
hope,
great talk. Yeah,
yeah, I hope anyone who watches this video or listens to us talk, I hope uh, we were successful in helping you in some way or the other. Do give us your opinion though. We would love to listen to your opinion. So do put it in the comment section if you want. Uh, any last thought, guys? Any last thought?
Uh, yeah, just do it for the fun.
Ah, nice, nice.
Yes.
Right. Just do it for the fun. Enjoy.
great.
Okay, guys. Signing off. See you next time.